said, Walt, a very impressive drive by the Redskins.
That's for sure. And that time, Tim Smith could have had 3 more yards if he was just a little more patient, waiting for that hole to develop. So his line is just doing a tremendous job blowing open the holes in Norristown's defense. I think Norristown is going to have to shift some people around and make a little stand right here.
Do you think the Eagles have a tough time getting up for a team like this? I mean, they had West 2 weeks ago. I mean, I would have thought last week would have been the letdown week, if any. Ben Salem not really a strong team. But here you have Neshaminy, no wins. Like you said, 3 points against the team that Norristown handled pretty easily last week. Does preparation play a key in a game like this?
Well, obviously, you're not going to get up like you would against a Central Bucks West or East. So it has to be a little bit tougher. But, Jeff, this Norristown defense, I think, is looking to show that they're better than maybe the numbers would indicate. So I really don't think that they're going to let down against anybody. I know they haven't been happy with their performance. They were on their way to a shutout against Ben Salem, and Ben Salem got a couple of touchdowns late to actually make that one interesting. So I think the Norristown defense comes out to prove something every week.
Smith goes into motion to the right side. He looks to the end zone. Hatfield up top. Oh, I'll tell you what. Quick pass that time, and John Hatfield showing a nice strong arm. That time again looking for his captain tight end, Chris Feeney. And one of the defenders might have gotten an arm in there or could have just slipped through Feeney's arms.
Yeah, I think the presence of Joe Milligan, number 21, on Feeney's back made him reach his hands out there instead of sort of letting the ball just come into him and catching against his body, as he's done so well all night. And that time Milligan's presence made Feeney sort of jump at that ball and consequently bat it down.
Interesting play selection by head coach Mark Schmidt, really doing very well on the ground, but mixing it up somewhat on the drive, and then he goes on close yardage, goes for the short pass again. Oh, same play again. Smith in motion, leaves Derman in the backfield. Hatfield looking to the other side, the lone man. Oh, that was never a chance. Oh, boy. We're going to have a pass interference call against Norristown. Number 2, Damon Carroll, is going to be the fella called for it. And that's a shame because that ball was behind the receiver. I don't even know that it was catchable.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Carroll could have interfered and knocked the ball down at the same time, considering the receiver was past the ball. I don't want to criticize the officials because it's a little tough from our angle. We're looking straight at the receiver and Carroll behind him, so we can't exactly see that contact. But that was nonetheless a very dangerous pass. It was a good result for Neshaminy, but very dangerous. It was behind the receiver and almost straight at Damon Carroll's chest. And you don't want to give these Norristown defensive backs the ball and a lot of room to run.
And it was into double coverage also. It was 3rd and 7 there, so that's a big play. Had it gone incomplete, it would have been 4th down. We probably would have seen a field goal, but it's 1st and goal. They go to Smith right up the middle. He follows his blockers, and they get him about halfway home. We'll wait for them to sort out the pile. Down at the bottom there for Norristown. Looks like, who was that, Walt? Number 78 for the Eagles. Dwayne Evans was at the bottom of that pile.
But that center for Neshaminy, John Carmilowitz, he's always the man going forward. You never see him getting pushed back, even standing in the spot. He is really surging forward on every play, and that's where you see Smith getting most of his yards. So far, 31 yards on 7 carries for Tim Smith.
Well, let's call it 3 yards on that carry, make it 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. This time, number 1, Jason Hunter, goes wide left. Here comes Smith in motion to the near side. They split the defense. This time Hatfield finds a hole, looks for the end zone. Kelly wraps him up. Another flag. And that time Al Zone came up from his linebacker spot to help fellow linebacker James Kelly. And this time it's got to be against Norristown based upon the bad reaction from Joe Milligan. Well, the only thing I could think of is face mask.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. Milligan's reaction there was a weird spot to have a call. I was pretty sure that call was going to go against the Neshaminy. As the man was out on the wing, usually you get a hold or a bad block out there. That's what it was, Jeff. It was an illegal block, and that's what's going to happen when you're. It didn't look like that was a planned keeper. It looked like that play sort of broke down on Hatfield, and now you've got your receivers and your backs just scrambling to make those blocks. And when you get men out of position, that's when you'll get a play like that.
So penalties playing a significant part in this very, very long drive from the Neshaminy. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 14-yard line with 10:45 to play here in the 2nd quarter. Again, the backs in the eye. They keep everyone in close. They hand off to Smith at the outside. He's got room. cuts inside of Damon Carroll, who misses the hit. He's wrapped up at about the 10-yard line. And I tell you, I thought Smith had room to the outside. He had the far side of the field ahead of him.
Well, there's room to the outside, but that was number 2 closing in on the outside. So I think Damon Carroll actually came exploding up from his safety spot and actually missed the tackle to the outside of Smith. So Smith with a quick cutback, but had good support that time. Carroll had good support by his Norristown teammates.
And Walt, this will bring up another key play. It'll be 3rd and goal from just outside the 10-yard line of the Eagles. Eagles, of course, in their all-blue uniforms. The Redskins in the white jerseys and the red pants. Hatfield looks up top. He's got a man across the middle. Oh, boy, right into the hands of number 30, Will Gant. And Gant could have taken off and run 90 yards with that ball.
And, Jeff, I have to be honest with you. I was expecting this year Lofton Thompson, from what I saw last year, just do huge things this year from whatever spot he played. And so far he's made things happen. Once pressuring Hatfield from the back. That time he was right in on Hatfield's face, made him sort of sling it sidearm, and that's what almost caused the interception. So a real nice play by Lofton Thompson.
It's going to be an 18-yard field goal attempt by number 17, Robert Miller. The spot is down. It's got plenty of leg, and it's good. Well, I'll tell you, that ball almost left the field area. That would have been good from 30 more yards. A fine kick that time by Robert Miller. So nearly a 12-minute Neshaminy drive to pick up 3 points, and they still trail the Norristown Eagles 7-3 here. Walt, that was it's 9:46 to play here in the first half, and they got possession of that ball with 9:10 to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, you're disappointed with the 3 points, of course, especially when it takes a broken play that sort of pushes you out of your touchdown range. But Neshaminy certainly has to be happy with that. And I've got to say that head coach Mark Schmidt did a fabulous job of choreographing that drive, and John Hatfield a nice job of running it from quarterback spot.
Now, did I say 18-yard field goal? 28-yard field goal. It was spotted at the 18. I can't recall if I called that right or not, but it was spotted at the 18, so of course it was a 28-yard field goal attempt, and that ball had plenty of leg. Jot down the score and the time. A little different set this time, Walt. It's going to be Damon Carroll back by himself to receive Miller's kickoff.
And from the leg on Miller, it looked like he can put it back there, but he really just shortened that one.
Yeah, he chipped that one, taken it to the 30-yard line. They look to go to the far side of the field, runs into trouble, and on the carry that time, Walt, I believe it was number 25, Kevin Burke, the man who got the first kickoff.
Right, Kevin Burke's getting plenty of action with the threat of Damon Carroll back there. And Burke's doing a nice job. When the ball's that short, there's no sense trying to make anything too much happen. Catch the ball, make sure you keep the ball, put your team in good field position, and now Norristown's at the 33-yard line, and Burke's done that. So a very smart play by Kevin Burke, and Roger Grove will do that, put his smart men up short. So if you're going to kick away from Carroll, they're going to make you pay a little bit.
All right, folks, it's Norristown's ball. Finally, they get to touch the football again from their own 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Backs in the eye. Fake goes right. They go to Carroll off the left side. He's like a panther out there. He just waits and picks his spot.
He does. He picks his way through. He's not all speed and explosion all the time, but when he finds that hole, he can really shoot in.
A little shuttling there on the front line. Irvin Chavou coming out of the ball game. It'll be, call it 6 yards on the carry, make it 2nd down and 4 from the 40-yard line. This time the pitch to Carroll off the right side. He's through. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Finally thrown down at the 45-yard line of Neshaminy. But Damon Carroll virtually goes untouched.
It's just amazing, and he did go untouched through a crowd of traffic. But that time, when they pitch outside to him, he has everything right in front of him. He can see as it's developing and as people are moving, and he reads the defenders' moves before they even know what they're going to do, and that's what makes him so effective. And just shake those shoulders, and once he hits a big enough hole for him, he really explodes.
So it's 1st and 10 again for Norristown. From the 45-yard line. Looks like a busted play there that's going to go for a big gainer. That was number 3, Lofton Thompson. Looked like they didn't know what they were doing there for a second. All of a sudden, Lofton Thompson was in the secondary. And he picked up a nice chunk of yardage. Let's call it 13 yards on the carry.
Well, Lofton Thompson doesn't touch the ball much. On any other team, he'd be a feature back, but doesn't touch the ball much, so he's awfully eager to get it. So when they call his number, he's up there saying, hey, Jay, give me that ball. Let me do something with it.
So Noristown with another first down. The running game doing quite nicely for the Eagles. 1st and 10 now from the Neshaminy 33-yard line. This time the pitch goes left. Carroll up front. Wow, did he hit traffic that time? That was a quick hit in the backfield that time by Neshaminy. Good pursuit.
Well, I'll tell you, Lofton Thompson hit the traffic. He was trying to block the Neshaminy linebacker, Adam Cortez. And Cortez just stood Thompson up. And I think Carroll expected there to be a hole. And Cortez, a great job of stopping it up. That's the best way to do it with Carroll, is just not to give him the hole. He's a tough tackle, but if you don't give him the hole, nobody can go anywhere. So Cortez, a great job of stopping that up from the linebacker spot.
So that was virtually no gain. We're going to call that 2nd down and 10 now, still from the 33-yard line. Hicks wide to the right. They fake, go to Thompson coming around the other way. He had room and a blocker out front. That was Dave Fazzini out in front blocking. And Lofton Thompson cut it back up the middle, and he's going to be close to a 1st down.
And that's a great play because you do have an experienced line. You have guys who've played together all last year. You have starters out there from last year, Fabian, Lucane, Fazzini, and Fiss. So those guys really have worked together a lot and are extremely smart players. So you maybe pull that guard out or bring that tackle around, and Lofton Thompson cuts it up nicely for a nice gain.
And this time we'll have Rich Hicks down at the bottom of our screen, Milligan at the split end. 1st and 10, Noristown. Damon Carroll into the pile. He breaks through. It's going to be a touchdown. Walt, that is absolutely unbelievable. He goes into the middle of a pile of players. It looked like he was stopped dead at the line of scrimmage, and before you know it, he's in the backfield and walking into the end zone.
Stopped dead. It looks like he had his head taken off, and I have to be honest with you, I'm looking right into the pile, and I lost him in there. And all of a sudden, you see him shooting out the back and a bunch of red trailing him. Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Let's make that a great carry for Damon Carroll. 24-yard touchdown run with 6:25 to play. Albie Morano for the extra point, and it's good. Albie Morano, tried and true here at kicker for Noristown, does his job, puts the extra point on the board, and the Eagles extend their lead to 14-3.
Well, when you watch Norristown play offense, you certainly see impressive individual skills. That one you can call an impressive drive. They went back and forth using their 2 main guys in Thompson and Carroll, but really rode the 5 horses up front that time, with a couple guys shuttling in and out for situational plays. But they really rode their line that time, and their backs didn't have to get much tough yardage at all.
And Walt, unofficially, we have Damon Carroll with 7 carries for 97 yards. It's about his average, right? 8.8 yards a carry, actually a little better.
That's about it. And if he would, Norristown would be able to get the ball back here in this half, he'd go over 100 and a half, and that's certainly nothing unusual.
So it's 6:25 to play here in the first half on a beautiful night at Roosevelt Field. The Eagles' offense is really in sync.
And Jeff, I want to welcome you back. We had some bad weather last week, and I guess they were trying to postpone it as much as they could to get you back and not have to do a game without you, but certainly nice to have you back.
My pleasure. I always enjoy doing these ball games. Of course, we want to thank the Norristown Area School District for bringing us this ball game. We'll thank the folks who have assisted us this evening once we get to halftime. There's Albie Morano. Deep kick, far side, hits it about the 15. Taken by Kareem Hunt, comes up the middle, and he's gotten a good pursuit that time by Norristown. Looked like Kevin Burke in on the tackle. See if we can call any other numbers for you. Also, number 81, Josiah Perry, downfield on the coverage.
And so far, Morano's found open space with his 2 kickoffs. Hunt has just let the ball bounce, and it's really dying out on that field. Then Hunt picks it up and is trying to go sideways, and Norristown's strength, as always, is their speed. They have a lot of starters out there on those special teams, and Hunt's not going to find a lot of room.
So John Hatfield sets the offense now, 1st and 10. The quick snap. They go to Tim Smith around the left side. Picks up some yardage before he's finally driven out of bounds by number 1, Omar Jenkins, number 4, Lamont Johnson.
And again, it took a Norristown defensive back to make that tackle. So Smith did a nice job of picking his way into that Norristown secondary. Once you get into there, you know you've picked up some yardage and have the ability to pick up more with a couple broken tackles.
So it'll be 2nd down and 5 for Neshaminy. Smith comes in motion to the near side. The handoff goes up the middle, though, and that's stopped quickly. I believe on the carry that time was number 3 for the Redskins, Nick Derman.
Yeah, and Derman went down like he was a tree being chopped down because Al Zone came in there and really wrapped him up quickly before Derman could even keep his feet moving and break out of that. Zone filled the gap, and Derman saw a hole up top, but nothing down bottom.
Zone filled the zone?
I wasn't going to say it, but you did.
Okay,
so.
all right. So now it's 3rd down and 4. Ball's at just the far side of the 30-yard line. Let's call it the 29. Kareem Hunt in motion. You got two receivers wide to the right. Hunter and Hunt. Hatfield. Little handoff there to Tim Smith. He's got some running room, cuts it up inside, and that gives the Norristown pursuers just enough time to get there and make the play. That was number 79, James Ballard, who made the tackle from behind.
And you're right. At the initial call, it certainly did look like Smith had some room. They spread those two receivers out, and that automatically takes two guys out because the Neshaminy's thrown an ability to throw the ball tonight. So on that draw play, it looked like Smith had some room, but Norristown closed down the middle nicely, which is usually where you want your draw to go to be most effective. And now they're going to force Neshaminy with a tough play.
That's right, and now we have couldn't have two more different drives. Now it's 3 plays and punt for the Neshaminy Redskins on their second offensive possession. Plenty of time. It's a good kick that time. It's up. Norristown's just going to let the ball hit at about their own 40-yard line. Punting the ball that time for the Redskins was number 80, Brian Stern. That was 4th at about a yard, folks, but they were fairly deep in their own territory at about the 37-yard line. So a good idea to get rid of that ball. And the Eagles will take over, but once again in good field position from their own 39-yard line.
Well, now Mark Schmidt's really going to have to call on his defense. This is perfect time for Norristown. There's just over 4 minutes left. It's plenty of time to either, of course, break one long or put together a nice little drive, as Norristown has 2 of their timeouts remaining. So Neshaminy's going to have to come up big to keep this one close before going in.
The Dosick with the pitch to Carroll. Carroll's got room. Look at that cut. Finally brought down past midfield. He's into the Neshaminy territory. We'll get you the yardage in just a moment. Let's call it 13 yards on the carry.
And Jeff, he makes that cut 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. He really went untouched that time. Those are pretty easy yards for Damon Carroll.
He really is not being hit at all at the line of scrimmage. It's not until he gets deep into the secondary before a hit is put on him. And it's Kelly and Carroll in the backfield. They go right this time with Damon. Puts a move to the outside. Another first down. Finally ripped down from behind by the cornerback. And Damon Carroll just put an unbelievable move on number 25, Peter Buttville.
Yeah, and Buttville did all he could do there. I mean, he just facing Carroll up, knowing I'm not going to be able to bring this guy down all by myself. So Buttville tried to hold him up and let his defenders come. Carroll, seeing that, just exploded to the outside.
So it's another Norristown first down. Great carry by Carroll. They're at the Neshaminy 32-yard line. 1st and 10, 3:15 to play here in the first half. Again, Hicks and Milligan to the near side. Carroll up the middle this time. He's being grabbed at. It looks like he's going to pick up about 5, perhaps 6 on the play. Well, let's wait and see how they sort it out. Let's call it 6 yards on the carry, 2nd and 4. The ball's going to be at about the 27-yard line of Neshaminy. Same offensive set, Kelly and Carroll. Now Kelly and Carroll will split this time. Hicks and Milligan to the left. The Dosick takes the snap, looks up top, is pressured, and that time he was hit very quickly. Good penetration that time by the Redskins into the Norristown backfield. Well, I couldn't grab the number on the player who made that hit. There it is, number 56 for Neshaminy. is Adam Cortez, and that was a nice play that time. There were actually 3 players penetrating, and Cortez came up the middle to hit Nadasic as he was about to make the pass.
That's Cortez's second big play tonight. He's made a bunch of other solid ones. So he seems to be their playmaker at linebacker, and that's where you'll see a lot of the playmakers. Norristown, of course, traditionally strong in their linebacking core.
So now the Eagles faced with 3rd and 4 from the 32-yard line. Again, the backs are in the eye. The pitch to Carroll. They look outside. He's got Kelly out there to block, and Damon Carroll just drives ahead, and it's going to be a first down. Boy, I tell you, Damon did that one with some extra effort. Kelly was out front to block. Carroll went inside and dragged that tackler the extra yard to get the first down.
Right, he had his fullback Kelly and his guard Lucene out in front of him. And once they got their defenders just a little bit back on their heels, Carroll knew that if he could just put a little extra into it, he could knock them back for that extra yard for the first down.
So again, 1st and 10 Norristown from the 20-yard line of Neshaminy. This time the quick handoff. No, they go to Lofton Thompson coming the other side. They fooled everybody, including me. Looked like that time, Walt, it was going inside to Kelly. Good fake that time by Nadasic, and he went to his man coming around the end, Lofton Thompson.
And that misdirection play has been effective for Norristown this year, and the more they can use that, the better off they'll be, because teams will watch the film and they won't see all 2. They'll see 3, they'll see 33, and they'll say, wow, who's that guy? Now we're going to have to worry about him.
It's 2nd and 2. They go to Carroll. He looks inside, slips one tackler. He's inside the 5-yard line before he's finally dragged down. Looks like about 10 on the carry.
And Jeff, is as good as Damon Carroll is, there's still no excuse for number 3 Nick Derwin to miss that tackle. He's got Carroll all lined up and just sort of turns to the side instead of standing him up, turns to the side and just drapes his arms over his back. That's an easy one for Carroll to run out of.
So it's 1st and goal for the Eagles from the 5-yard line. This time Carroll up the middle. He's hit in the backfield and brought down quickly. That time they sent Hicks and Milligan way outside to the far side. Timeout called by the Eagles with 59 seconds to play here in the half. And they tried to take it up the middle, but it was good defensive alignment that time by the Redskins.
Well, at this point, it's a crucial time for Neshaminy, and they certainly guessed right that time. So far, they have been very effective in stopping Norristown, so they're going to have to do a little bit more guessing, knowing that that's the only way they're going to be able to stay close or win this game.
Actually, a loss on the play, it looks like. Close to the line of scrimmage. We'll call it a loss of a yard, perhaps. So Roger Grove uses his first time out here with 59 seconds to play in the half. The Eagles have done a good job of using the remaining time on the clock to engineer this drive, which started at their own 40-yard line. Unsurprisingly, the biggest plays, running yardage by Damon Carroll.
Sure, Norristown's only put the ball up twice tonight, and of course they haven't had to. You always want to be successful running the ball. And the one time they did complete a pass, it was a nice pass for a good game that Norristown needed at the time. But so far they've established the running game. That's certainly their bread and butter, and that's what they're going to have to live off of.
And Norristown has struggled a little bit through the air this year. Certainly when you have a star back like Damon Carroll, you have to revolve your offense around him. And Nadasic coming into this game was 8 of 30 for 78 yards in the first 4 games. No touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And I think most of the damage coming in that West game. Now we have another timeout. Officials' time. So the Eagles were ready to play, but the officials called time. We've got an equipment problem with one of the Neshaminy players that one of the officials is trying to alleviate. So we'll try once again.
You look at Nadasic's numbers, and obviously they're not impressive, but it's the situations you put them in when they have to run the ball or when you have to throw the ball. They're looking at maybe 3rd and 8s or things like that. And that's a tough situation to throw in because the other team's looking for that. Nadasic really only has a couple of targets to go to since Norristown doesn't throw to their backs much. So he's really had some tough spots to throw in this year. But again, he's got a strong arm, and when they call those patterns from the 8 to 10 yards, he's very effective.
We're going to have to get alternate programming in here during this stoppage of play. So it'll be second and goal. Let's call it the 6-yard line for Norristown. It's Kelly and Carroll in the backfield. Same set. Milligan and Hicks far to the right. This time the pitch to Carroll. He cuts it up inside. He's hitting the backfield again. Boy, I tell you, that's a good defensive play by the Redskins. And on the bottom of the pile again, number 56 for Neshaminy, Adam Cortez. And once again, Roger Grove calls time.
And Cortez held his ground nicely as one of his teammates shot in there to make Carroll cut back. And Cortez holding his ground nicely as they made Carroll come back right into him, and a good tackle around the ankles.
Well, Norristown, after cruising downfield, has seemed to have run into a little bit of a problem here inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Jeff, obviously it's 4-down territory. Now I think they may have one timeout remaining. 49 seconds left, so even if you would run the ball, that's plenty of time to get off 2 plays. The safe way would be to stay on the ground right now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and bring Rich Hicks over the middle and try and maybe mix it up a little bit, surprise Neshaminy on a passing play, and then if they have to on 4th down, go to the run.
Okay, so we'll have 3rd and goal. I'm going to call it the 7-yard line. Roger Grove trots off the field. This time they split the receivers. Hicks to the left, Milligan to the right. Single back, Carroll's in the slot. They go upstairs. Nadasic goes way high, hits the crossbar. Was that a field goal attempt or a pass? It was no good either way.
Yeah, well, here they come for the field goal attempt. They're not going to take another shot at it and try and go up by 2 scores, which is certainly probably the smart move if you're looking at the scoreboard right now. But yeah, Nadasic wasn't taking any chances, and that's the smart way to go. You don't want to get it intercepted down here and give Neshaminy, 1, the ball, and 2, any momentum going into the half. So if he didn't see his man, he decided to throw it on where only his man could catch it, and turns out nobody did.
Spots at the 14. It's a 24-yard field goal attempt. It's good. Albie Morano puts 3 more points on the board for the Norristown Eagles. So with 39 seconds remaining before halftime, the Eagles up on top 17-3. But I tell you, that was a low kick that time. I thought with the penetration Neshaminy had, that ball might be in trouble, but Morano certainly had plenty of leg on it.
Yeah, it was barely higher than Nadasic's pass on 3rd down. But Morano, as all Norristown kickers are, a solid player on the soccer team. So he doesn't want to put too many over.
So Neshaminy will get one more crack at it here with 39 seconds to play in the half. This will only be their 3rd offensive possession of the game. I mean, certainly it's been a game of ball control. The one big chunk of change, though, was that Neshaminy drive ate up most of the first quarter and part of the second quarter.
It was time-wise a whole quarter that they chewed up, and we've had all the other possessions squeezed into the other 12 minutes.
Well, Walt, I'd say so far in this ball game, a workmanlike performance by the Norristown Eagles, certainly doing a fine job on offense. Let's give some credit to the offensive line of the Eagles. You know, we talk Damon Carroll, but you can't do it without the blocks, and Damon Carroll has certainly had good blocking out front from his backfield mates and also from the fellows across the front line. Morano's kick is low. It's going to be a line drive. Hits and takes a turn at the 20. Taken at about the 17-yard line by Kareem Hunt, and he's deep. He's finally brought down at the far sideline. The tackle made by number 30, Will Gant, and I saw a flag go up in the air.
Well, flag or no flag, Hunt did the smart thing that time. Picked it up on the sidelines and just shot straight forward before Norristown was even down there. As you said, Jeff, it was a low kick, and it got there quickly. So Hunt had a little room to run before Norristown even got there, and it turns out his defenders sealed him off. And legally.
And the call, Walt, is personal foul against Norristown. That hurts. It was a good run back to begin with. Up to the 44-yard line. We're going to tack 15 yards on top of that. And I've got to believe the personal foul's against Gant.
Yeah, I think it was maybe the tackle was a little too hard over there on that sideline. But now you have a team with 32 seconds who's really run their offense well tonight and 3 timeouts.
A great opportunity for Neshaminy here to strike back quickly. The clock is running. We've got 20 seconds. Now the official says time called by Neshaminy. So the Eagles will trot off the field to consult with their coaches.
Well, it would be a victory for Neshaminy, certainly, if they would get that 3 back that they just gave up to Norristown. And with the leg we saw in Robert Miller on his last field goal, he certainly could kick one from maybe 40, and they might try him from 45. So Neshaminy only needs a couple yards here and has a couple timeouts to stop the clock.
So Neshaminy will have the ball, 22 seconds remaining. They've used a timeout here. Ball is just outside the 40-yard line of Norristown.